Recently, Kanye West has become as infamous for his rants as for his music. This week was no exception. Starting with his Yeezus tour at Madison Square Garden and continuing over a slew of interviews, amongst many points made, Kanye seems hell-bent to tell us how corporate the world really operates. And I, for one, can't blame him. Now, contrary to many, I applaud Ye for standing up for himself and in a greater picture, the entire culture for what is rightfully owed. Now, I've always said musicians in this day and age have more power than anyone, especially with the role of social media and accessibility to them. Athletes are forced to be too politically correct and ultimately controlled by leagues and owners. Actors and actresses can never go too far in one direction as they are constantly trying to reinvent themselves into different characters so they don't get typecast in the same movies over and over. Music is the only true universal language, not to mention the only one where artists have complete control. Now, to validate my point in numbers, just look at this statistic. Eminem has 78 million Facebook likes alone. Now, to put that in perspective, the biggest TV providers, DirecTV, Comcast, Dish Network, Time Warner, Verizon, and AT&T, all combined have less subscribers, let alone people that are passionate about their company, than Eminem has fans on only Facebook alone. Now, in music, hip-hop really is the new rock and roll. Its biggest names are as big as celebrities as anyone in the world. Hip-hop artists naturally possess the rebellion and edge that pop artists attempt to manufacture, and they stand out as individuals and brands that everyone knows and recognizes, whether they listen to the music or not. This is in contrast to rock groups of today where I can't even mention the names of or remember the lead singers of some of my favorite bands. However, Kanye is right. As big and powerful as he and his peers are, artists like him still aren't amongst the world's true upper class. I mean, there's no billionaires in hip-hop despite the influence they reign. I, for one, witnessed and utilized the power doing marketing for brands, for example, T-Mobile back in the day with a sidekick. I got one in Jay-Z's hands. He put it in a music video, and the rest is history. T-Mobile profited and makes billions quarterly. However, Jay didn't get anything other than a free device. Now, although Kanye can sometimes be so passionate in his statements that he turns people off without giving them a chance, and often adds in bold statements decided to ignite a reaction, at the core of his thoughts, he is 100% accurate. It makes sense that he's leaving Nike, as they apparently didn't offer him a royalty after designing and creating one of the most popular shoes ever, the Yeezys. His signature collaboration with Louis Vuitton sold out instantly and is selling for as much as many classic vintage Louis Vuitton specialty pieces do in the aftermarket space. Yet, he says he can't even get a meeting with the vice president of the company. Now, this just goes to show how corporations still often don't respect us or the culture. It's time for us as a people to create a new generation of power and support those who come from and respect and empower our culture. Salute to people like Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, Kanye, and Snoop Dogg, who was in the building tonight at the beginning for what they do for our culture and the forefront of the movement. Plus, harnessing all this power they have into more than just making music. Now, as for Kanye, is he an eccentric star? Yes. Misunderstood? Yes, definitely. Crazy? Not really. Sometimes the world itself is so insane, when you actually make sense and speak out against the norm, you're labeled as the outcast. Hopefully, for the sake of the culture, we can take heed of his rants and make change to empower ourselves and those around us, instead of, as Kanye says, making us new slaves to these corporations.